If the Bible had powers, I tell you, nobody will bring it to Africa. Repeat after me. If the Bible was useful or had powers, nobody will bring it to Africa. Period.
Hi guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to the channel of Upright Men and Women. Remember I told you that I was going to explain to you where the word miserable came from? I'm going to do that first thing now. Well, the first half of it is Mizza, M-I-Z-Z-A. Now this comes from the Catalan language. Catalonia is an autonomous region of Spain. It is close up to the border with France. Yeah man, in the Catalonian language, Mizza means wishing happiness and goodwill to all men. Wishing happiness and goodwill to all men. And of course, we know what rebel is. I joined the two because I'm a rebel who is trying to reach out with the kindest of sincerity and wishes to all men, mankind. Although for me personally, I'm a rebel who is hitting out against the exploitation of my race and trying to protect my race from the evils of the slave masters. So that's how miserable came about. It's not just a word or a catchphrase. It's a state of mind, it's a movement. So if you ever wear the shirt, it's making a statement about who you are. So I was just giving that understanding of the word miserable. Anyway, today's story is not for everybody. Because my friends are very much into TikTok. Will not, most likely would not even click on this topic when they see it. Because they have no interest in high levels of reasoning. But they would learn a lot if they had just cared to stick around. So, for you, my sophisticated thinkers, let's get into today's topic. Today, I'm going to show everyone why Norway has an extremely low murder rate and overall low crime problem compared to Jamaica. And I'll begin by saying this. I am what is known as a pragmatist. In other words, I ascribe to the philosophical principles of pragmatism. Now, what is pragmatism? It is the outlook that nothing should be taken at face value but should be examined thoroughly before drawing a conclusion. In other words, everything must be proven. Don't believe anything whatsoever. Prove it, or if it cannot be proven, reject it. I remember attending a lecture of which Mutabaruka was a part. I think it was held at either the Jamaica Library Service headquarters and Tamredcom, or it was at UTEC. I attended several of these functions at D2, but I can't remember which one, because this happened in about 2002, 2003, long time. And Mutabaruka at that time said something very profound. He said, and I quote, "The cultivation of doubt is the beginning of wisdom," unquote. In other words, the only way for you to become wise is to have doubts. Because when you have doubts, you're beginning to examine, you're beginning to investigate, to test, to find out if the things you see around you, the things you perceive, whether they are true or false, or whether they are real or just fantasies. Well, I was a pragmatist even before I knew there was such a term or such a philosophical way of thinking. I was just born a pragmatist. From me drop out of my mother's womb, me question everything and not accept nothing until it can be proven. That's just how me did born. And this had led me to ask many questions. And every time I don't get answers, I leave it alone or put it in a section called pending. Me not accept it or reject it. It's just pending. When I get an answer and it is proven, then I move it from the pending box to say yes, I accept it, or it's totally rejected when I find no evidence to back it up. And that is how I think everybody should approach life. But only 1 in every 10 does, or maybe 1 in every 5. So, what does what I'm saying now have to do with Norway having a low crime rate and Jamaica having such a high crime rate? Well, I'm going to tell you. Norway has a population of 5.5 million people. Yeah man, 5.5 million people. For those of you who don't know, Norway is a Scandinavian country. Pure white people live there. Well, it's a white country, European country. Way up north near the North Pole. Cold as hell when winter comes. Sometimes I source a day for 6 months. Sometimes I source a night for 6 months. That kind of place. Now, let me give some very comparative and relevant statistics between Jamaica and Norway. Now, how many churches are in the entire country of Norway? I'm gonna tell you. 189 churches for a population of 5.5 million people. Less than 200 church. Now, let's use a comparative figure. Well, we can't use a comparative figure with Jamaica, but I'm going to give you some statistics that shows you the drastic difference. I'm going to begin at Harborview. Harborhead to be specific. Those of you who are familiar with Harborview, you will know that after you leave Bayshore Park, heading east, just after you pass Harbour Drive, just on the little rise, you find a Moravian church. Now, let's use that as the first church. One day, I was on my way to Morant Bay from Kingston, and I decided to start right at that Moravian church, counting it as number 1, and go heading into Morant Bay. Do you know how many church I counted between that Moravian church and into Morant Bay? I counted 109. 109 churches over a 23-mile stretch of distance. And these are only the churches that are on the main. I'm quite sure if you turn off the main, you're going to find enough more, maybe triple time that, over that small, comparatively small space. Now, let's look at murders. In 2024, that's last year, between January of 2024 and the end of May 2024, in Norway, there were 18 murders. 18 out of a population of 5.5 million. In that same period of time in Jamaica, we were over 400 murders out of a population of 3 million people. Now, you need to ask yourself, why is it that a country with so few Christians, few religious people? Because in truth and in fact, Norway is an atheist country. Virtually nobody in Norway think that there's any superior being. The churches that are open, having between 3 to a dozen people on a Sunday. Old people who hold on to the old values. So some churches over there don't even open. Many little villages have none. Yet, the people of Norway are some of the most educated, the most courteous, principled, and well-mannered people on earth. There's very little bank fraud going on there. No scamming, no gangs, just overall decent people. Now, that should lead us to ask several questions. Why is it that with so many Christians, so many praying people, so many people who are ascribing to this God, him can't talk some decency and some humanity in the people, in the church? And why the people them who not go to church, have more God in them, or who is considered to be more quote unquote Christian like than the one them in Jamaica we go church every day. I mean, isn't it ironic that the people who don't have no superior being are look over them shoulders, who not looking to die and go to no heaven, who don't think that there's no lake of fire await upon them, they are the most principled and some of the most well-behaved people on earth. Make that make sense? Now, let's leave from Jamaica for a little and just go to Africa. The most ignorant, uneducated, savage-like, unimaginative, and overall brutal and immoral set of people are in Africa, poverty-stricken, have no hope, and virtually no future. But you know one thing they have like Jamaica? Lots and lots and lots of churches. Now, these are facts. Jamaican people, when them see Jamaican Christians, when them see all the nasty shites going on here in Jamaica and see all kind of calamity attack the country, what them say? Do more prayer. Them pray and them pray and they pray and they go sitting in a church every single day and them pray. And the more them pray and the more destruction take away. And the more destruction take away, them say, "Uno not pray enough. Go to more prayer. I choose uno not pray hard enough." So then, why are the people who are not praying at all have cleaner heart and now nowhere near as vile as uno? We have the God. Make that make sense, somebody. I know I can't make it make sense, but make excuses. Give me some of the hilarious excuses we wanna have. I just want you to help me to understand, because uno in this thing, uno must know what uno do. So explain it to me who don't understand. I am quite sure that if you go into any lockup now and take out single out any of them rapists and bloodthirsty murderers and conmen, every single one of them pray to that God. And them evil and vile just the same. Who call upon God like mass murderer Vibes Cartel? You see guys, while the people in Africa I do this and I do them little hocus pocus and still are dead in a poverty, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Koreans, who are all atheists, are doing this. Increasing their knowledge in technology, in science, doing research, and getting good results and getting rich and living happy and moral lives and principled lives. And instead of having these books, science, physics, chemistry, mathematics, geography, geology, etc., why we take up this? And we think that this is the knowledge that we supposed to use to get through life. And for those of you who will try to counter by saying that the Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, and so on have gods, I repeat, no. Buddha was not a god. So if they are Buddhists, but Buddha never claimed to be a god. He was just a philosophical teacher. Confucianism, Confucius was not a god. He was just a man with some good philosophical teachings. He taught people how to live, and it worked. And neither Buddha, nor Confucius, nor Lao Tzu, for that matter, for those of you who know about Lao Tzu, they never claimed to be gods. And them never tell nobody say them I got burn in a hellfire or anything. He just taught good thoughts. And without no fear of lake of fire, or no promise of no afterlife, or no reward for living this life, those people behave with principle. Yet the ones, ironically, the ones who are promised a good afterlife to feast with milk and honey in paradise, the ones who get promised to see their loved ones again and to rise again and go out into the clouds and get wings, those ones are the wickedest, vilest backbiters on earth. How it go? How that go? Why is it? I might have to ask the question. Why is it that anyway this Christian God turns up? A pure crisis and destruction and woe and weeping and mourning take the place. No, me just observe the facts and call it as it is, Don't blame me because I try to call out things for what they are. No, more one Christian for come explain to me why poverty, crime, exploitation, immorality take people and take up and manifest itself so profoundly in any country that decide to take up this Christian God on them head. A test God a test we. Now don't can see everything already. Him never know how many way they go fail and how many way they go pass. So if him don't know already, why am I test for? Him not don't know. Him know everything. I think that what we need in this country are less church, less God, and more love towards fellow man. Because the evidence is clear, 100% clear, that anywhere God turn up, be a destruction, take people. And want some Christians to come tell me which part I want me think wrong. Why me not think so? And why it don't go so? Give me the evidence why I am wrong. Thanks for watching. Like, share, leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.